Today, what I'll be talking about is, how we can redefine the future of work with no-code digital process automation. And that is something which I've been very excited about to talk to you all, since this is an area which I've been working all across my career, and with Quixy, this has gone to a next level since we've got a no-code platform also to digitize the processes that we look at. So in today's talk, the things that we'll be covering is why we need to automate. We need to ask that question to ourselves, why this automation is required. Otherwise, we don't know what we are going to do, what kind of platforms that we are going to use. Since we've used no code for our implementation currently, I'll also talk to you about why did we choose no code platform for us, where to start and how to implement this. This is the most important part of my presentation today, because that's where we face a lot of challenges. We hear a lot of buzzwords these days, a lot of technology words, but where to start, that's something we'll be talking about in today's presentation. Apart from that, I'll also be talking about the implementation that we've done at Fenesta, along with the challenges and the learnings that we've got. And finally, we'll end with the key takeaways for this session. Let's start with the first part of our presentation, which is why automation is required. We all have been in this kind of an area that, do we actually need to automate? Do we get any benefits out of it? As Rob was also telling that, a lot of people are still on Excel sheets, the way we've been doing things manually. So all those things are still there. So it's good to think about why automation is required. I'll give you certain points where we have been able to automate and the key benefits that we've been able to derive out of it. That will help you take your decision of making the final call why you need to automate it. So there are things that, these key 5 items that we've listed down currently are the things that we've been able to derive out of the automations. One, improving the employee satisfaction. As we talk about, we eliminate, tedious tasks that we have in automation, all the things that people do on a day-to-day lives. There are a lot of things that we do on a manual basis. Some things like we have to follow up to a lot of people. So how do we take care of that is through bringing in an automation platform where employees become more engaged in the enjoyable aspects of your jobs rather than doing the tedious tasks. So that helps in improving the employee satisfaction. And that also helps in enhancing the efficiency as well, since people are more satisfied, they know that they've been using the modern technology now, and also once you've embraced the automation, this helps in bringing in more efficiency in the organization. Another key motive is minimizing the manual errors. In a lot of manual activities, whether we talk about Excel sheets or the manual PDFs that we submit, people tend to write words in a different way. Something like in a city, people might write New Delhi, someone else would write N Delhi as well, right? So we talk about a lot of data science and analytics these days. If the data is not correct, you would not be able to do a lot of data science in that area. So it's important that your data that is coming out of the system, that is coming out in a perfect sense. So that is where you need to minimize the manual errors by bringing in the automation. The improving of scalability also comes up with the no-code platform, as you don't have to think about infrastructure a lot. You can scale up at any point of time you want to by just bringing in your apps onto the platform and then increasing the number of users you might want to. And it also brings a lot of reduction in costs. as you bring automations into your platform, you'll also be reducing your overhead costs, eliminating the waste as well, and the unnecessary spending that you'll be doing on those waste tasks that might be there. So those costs can also be reduced. Now, we've talked about why automate is, why do we need to automate? The other important part that we have here is why no code is important. So we've already talked about it while Rob was talking, why no code is there, but we also need to think about, why people go for it. A lot of times when we talk about legacy apps or traditional development, we take requirements from business, and then after 3 months, we think about it as the development is done, we've got it validated, we go back to the business, and then we all have faced that challenge that now business says some requirements have changed. You go back and then start developing again, you start changing your code. That is where the benefit of no code comes in, where your business is involved from day one. And that was the reason why we also went ahead with the no code platform here. The key reasons apart from that are, you get a visual modeling here. You get the business team to see where their application or the request would be going through on a visual platform. If there are any changes required, you can do it in the beginning itself. So it also has drag and drop interfaces where you can drag and drop the forms, the workflows, and build your applications on top of that. The cross-platform accessibility, as we all are on mobiles, tablets, laptops. So this aspect becomes really important for us. Reusability. We ourselves have used certain applications that were already available on the Quixy platform. We just picked that up, made certain changes as per our requirements, and redeployed it. So it is one of the most important factors from my side, since it reduces the go-to-market time. The integrations are really easy in this case, since the application is already there. You have certain webhooks which are available. With that, you can just integrate your application to the third-party apps and get your data in. Security and scalability. So that is also one of the important parts which the application offers for us. We can scale at any point of time without thinking too much about the infrastructure, the requirements that we might have from IT infra side. So we can do it directly on the platform. And finally, the most important part, which I always talk about, is the faster rollouts. The go-to-market time, if that gets reduced, I believe that's where the most important benefit that we get out of the no-code platform. The next one that we have here is, we've talked about why do we need to automate, why no-code is important. The other thing that we have here is, apart from this, how do I start? So this is an outline that we've used, and I believe this might be useful for you as well while you deploy or you start thinking in the direction of automation for your organization. So these are the 4 simple steps that I've put forth in this presentation here for you. 1, it is important to identify the right process to automate. Once you've identified the right process, do get your stakeholder buy-in. Also, apart from that, getting a stakeholder buy-in, you can, when we talk about, bringing in automations and you've got your buy-ins from there, you need to start gathering your requirements. And once you've gathered your requirements, finally, you have to also, get your process optimized. These are the 4 things that I'll be talking about in detail in the next 4 slides. How we've done it and how it can help you in also deciding what should be done to start your digitization process. Now, coming to the first point, identifying the right process. So these are the some of the checkpoints that I have listed down, since these are the points which we looked at while talking about, or while we were thinking about the digitization process. So anything which you find as tiresome and repetitive tasks, you should think about, automating those kind of processes. Processes where you need multi-step approvals from different stakeholders, where you need, cross-functional teams to be involved, where you see a lot of lead time is there for end-to-end process. You need a lot of follow-ups or reminders to be done, because these are the tasks that, which are mundane tasks which people have to keep on doing manually. These are the things which the system can do for you. So why spend your time and energy in that? The areas where you need work metrics or SLA tracking, the processes where you have inaccurate, inconsistent, or laborious manual work, as I already talked about, the manual activities that you have, inaccuracies might be there in that. And where you need to monitor the status, where your business team, your customers need to know the status where their application is, whatever they've submitted. Rather than they calling people and getting the status of their application, they should be able to see it on their system and take that decision there and then. Now, the second step, getting a stakeholder buy-in. We've learned it the hard way. The first application, we had certain business people involved. We took a lot of time to get that done. But after that, the things that we learned, and I would like to share that with you also, is it's important to get your stakeholder buy-in at the initial step itself. Once you've identified the process, and this is something which has worked for us, might work for you as well, but you can change it as per your scenarios. What we think is, you should always have at least one business user, so that it gives you that the perspective from their side. The citizen developers, which Rob was talking about a little while earlier, these people can be your citizen developers. These people can be your process champions. And an IT person has to be involved as well, a management representative, so that you can take your decisions faster and then start working on your processes. These people, if you involve, it helps you in getting a stakeholder buy-in at the initial steps itself, and then you can discuss with them, incorporate their feedbacks, refine your plans based on their discussion. And once you've got a buy-in, then only you should move to the next step. The next step is gathering your requirements. We all have been in that area where we get a lot of people in the business side. You have to start with an agenda in mind. You take that these are the things which you want to do, but trust me, you have to be willing to throw it out of the window, because a lot of times we need to just listen to the business perspectives and not try to solution at this step. Solutioning can be done later on, but at this step, just think about what kind of objectives and goals you have for the project. Gather the as-is information. Don't try to make the to-be at that point of time itself. Just listen to what kind of pain points would be there. Identify the corner cases that would be there. Here you need to probe a lot, because people would give you a happy flow initially, but to probe to the corner cases, that's where it becomes really important to identify. And document the improvements that they expect. What kind of gains they expect in a quantitative manner. Qualitative manner, we do talk about a lot, but in a quantitative manner, if you'll be able to identify what kind of improvements you want to bring into the process, that will help a lot in bringing in your process improvements. And the final step, which is the most important as to me, the optimizing and mapping your process. A lot of times we have certain as-is processes, which may be the inefficient procedures. So this is the place where you can bring in process efficiencies as well. As you deploy your system, as you're bringing your processes on a digital platform, you can think about removing certain parts or certain steps from your process. As an example, we were doing a lot of reviews before submitting to the approver. So a requester submits it, a person reviews it, third person then approves it. Now that review person in a manual process was only reviewing that all the data has been filled in or not, the data is filled in correctly or not, and what kind of things are required before he submits to the approval. With a system in place, you can make all those things mandatory. You can define that certain fields have to be there. You can choose your drop-down values rather than people filling those information in a manual way. And that step of reviewer can be eliminated. You can directly go to the approver because now you have a right application in place for you. So this is where you should think about optimizing your process and then map it on the digital platform. This will help you in reducing your time, bringing in more efficiencies into your platform, into your current work area, and would also help in further automation of tasks. And as I said earlier as well, you should define a measurable criteria for your process improvement and keep track of your improvements as you implement your solution. The next one that we have is how to implement in a no-code platform. We've talked about where to start, how we've done it in a no-code platform. In a traditional legacy apps, we have to decide who will be our UI team, who will be our backend team, who will be our infrastructure team. In a no-code platform, you don't have to think about all that. It's a very simple way, and Quixy has helped us in putting it in a very streamlined manner. If you see the Quixy platform, here also we have really simple drag and drop modules that we have from where we've created our forms, designed our workflows, added rules to it, assign the user and role permissions, finally configure the reports and notifications to track what we are doing, validate it, and publish it, and you're ready to go. Simple, isn't it? So, that's what the value which a no-code platform brings in for us. Now, I'll just talk about the Quixy implementation that we've done at Fenesta. The things that we've brought in, the use cases that we've currently implemented. We've already got our IT ticket service management into their platform. We've got the sales acquisition for a new glass edition. We've got new product acquisition, design edition approvals. And believe me, we've got more than 50% time savings after implementing. Because a lot of people earlier used to say we have to follow up from certain people, get the task done. People would call up and say, I've sent you an email. And the other person would say, I've not received it. Can you send it again? Or they'll send that task back to the user. So all those things have got eliminated. And that has brought up a lot of time savings for us. And the SLA adherence also has become more than 99% now. And that is the beauty of this application that we have. And we're also planning many more use cases into the platform. The sales process deviations one, the bringing in our channel partners also to the platform, and many more in the HR and admin space that we are into discussions with them. So all the departments that we have, every department can benefit out of it. Since every department has these kind of challenges that we see on the screen on the left-hand side, and the benefits that we've been able to derive out of the current application, those are our success stories, which are bringing the other departments also to this no-code platform. Some things like, the system now automatically assigns tasks to the users based on defined rules. We did not have this process control earlier. The follow-ups and reminders are being sent automatically. The fields are auto-populated. We don't have a manual error, the chances of manual errors. The mandatory fields are ensured are available. The status is maintained. Anyone can see the status of the task where I've submitted it. And the final one, it logs each and every action along with the timestamp. It helps a lot in the audit trails that we had to do earlier through multiple mail channels, who sent an email to whom, that can all be eliminated. Now, these are some of the screenshots that we have and the learnings that we've got from the form creation. As I said, always try to create dynamic fields. Don't fill up your form page. Autofill the basic information. Improve your customer experience there. Use more and more selection fields than free text, so that there are chances of manual errors are reduced. And order form in a logical way. You can define frames around it. You can put your get your signatures. All those things can be done. And also you can put your hints, which you cannot do in a manual form. You can put your hints. If anyone hovers over a field, they can see what kind of data is expected. Similarly, on a workflow part also, this is also quite easy here, as you can just drag and drop and decide what should be a button, where it should go to, which team should process it. And one of the important things that I always talk about is defining the turnaround times at each step. That'll go a long way in improving your processes later on. You'll be able to identify which all steps are bottlenecks and which all steps are your easygoing ones. So this is where you'll be able to bring in more process automations. And the tracking and dashboards. Always have your dashboards ready based on your requirements, whatever discussions you've done at the gather requirement stage. You've defined the metrics, put them on a dashboard so that you can keep on looking at them and keep on improving your processes. So optimizing your processes is the most important part in the overall process. And with this, the key takeaways that I have in my presentation today for you: select the right use case to start with. Enable your citizen developers so that the business is more involved into your decision making, into your implementation, and also in the final usage of the system. Establish your tracking points. That'll help a long way in taking bringing out the process efficiencies. And the elements that have helped us making it successful is adopting a no-code platform, Quixy in this case, keeping the stakeholders involved at all steps, and finally publishing your success stories. After you've been tracking your points, it's important to publish your success stories say you can put it in every fortnight or in every month, so that the other teams can also look at it and think about in this direction how they can automate or how they can bring in their processes onto an automation platform. And that will help in bringing up your change management also within the organization pretty much quickly based on these success stories that you would have published. So these are the key things that you can implement and use into your day-to-day lives. And as Rob already said, keep calm, keep standardizing, and bring more process automations into your current processes, and keep making the lives of your employees simpler by bringing in efficiencies. Thank you.